Welcome to the 1 Minute Barber Live. I'm back with you again. It's Tuesday night, and I should be back with you every Tuesday night while I'm on lockdown, while I'm off work, and I'm here to answer your questions and help you with any hair related questions that you may have. So, last week after my first live feed, one subscriber got in touch and he actually sent me through some of his haircut photos and said he actually said I could use them on the live feed. So this is a great thing because I can now critique what people are doing with their own home haircuts. So let's have a little look now at the first photo of Chris's hair. Now Chris has sent me this photo. This is his first photo. This is the way that his hair was before lockdown. Now, looking at this, I know how I would change that. It's quite a common style, quite a common commercial style. Just simply slick back hair. Good for the workplace. Quite commercial style. That's all I can say. So, personally, I can see in this photo that the sides are starting to spring out a little, and that's going to happen without product. The reason for that is because the hair doesn't actually want to go in that direction. It's been forced in that direction with product, and it's springing out. So personally, what I would do is I would go slightly shorter in that area on the sides. So let's have a look at what Chris did. Now, Chris did this following the 1 minute barber methods. Where are we? Let's have a look. There we go. Well done, Chris. Now this is brilliant. I actually love this. This is so neat. Really good shot at the front here. So we've got two images. One where he just has it just slicked back, completely slicked back, and the other where it is in a side parting. Now, so he's done a really good job there. He's been using the methods in the videos that I've been putting up and managed to create something with a really nice finish. However, he was asking me how he could finish it better, and he sent me other angles. I'm going to show you them as well. So let's just quickly have a look. These are the front angles, and let's have a look at the side shots of Chris's hair. So here we are with a side shot. Now, what he's done here is he's used a number 6 on an Andis Master to cut the sides, and he's used a 5.5 at the back. So what I would do here is I wouldn't use a 6 and then a 5.5. I would just use the same number because the difference between the two numbers is negligible. You're just not going to notice. You would notice if it was down at something like a 2 and a 1.5. But those few millimeters, once you get into the long numbers, you can't even tell. So I would just use the same number all the way around. Now, if you look down at the back of the ear there, what I would do is, so back of the ear, down towards the neckline and around the ear, I would actually, if I was working on Chris here professionally, I would probably try and taper that in. Let's have a little look at the shots from the back. So here we go. This is what he sent me here, and you can see what he's done is he's cut it straight at the back. That's the easiest way to neaten up the back, is to just cut simply a neckline. Now, I know that a neckline is a suitable haircut, but you can apply a nicer finish to that as well. Personally, what I would do is I would taper down the sides. I would create really straight lines coming down the sides, and then put a taper in the very bottom so there isn't a line. And I'm going to show you that in just a moment. Now, here it is. Yeah, so this is the way I would finish that, right? I'd have it slip back on the top and then taper it in. You can see at the bottom of this guy's neck and around the ears that it's actually tapered quite tight. It's quite a nice finish. and I have a video which I'm going to put a link in the description for, which will show you how to do a taper, how I would do a taper. You don't have to do it to the extreme that I'm doing it, but it gives you an idea of how you can just make the hair disappear into the neckline. It's a bit more involved than most of my other videos, probably more on the professional side than home haircut side, but yeah, good technique. Now, listen, if you've got any questions while I'm on here, drop them into the live chat. I'd love to answer anybody's questions that they have. Say hello, tell me where you're from, where you're watching from, and how you're getting on with lockdown. Are you on lockdown? So that's how I would finish a slick back haircut. But what product would you use on that? That's another thing, because some people would use like a shiny product, gel, something like that. Very good. Wax. Sorry, actually, I wouldn't use gel. I would probably use a wax, because it's still, you can still have some kind of flex in the hair. Gel would solidify. So I would use something like wax. I wouldn't use hairspray. It also solidifies. But before you do anything with product, I would use a pre-styler like mousse. So mousse will help to hold the hair when it's been blow dried back. You notice that sometimes you can get away with just putting the mousse in and blow drying it straight back. That'll work a treat. Okay, so something else I thought. Now let's have a look at Chris again, just one more time. Here he is here. Now, something else I thought, just for him, right? How we could enhance Chris's look here. This is what I would do, okay? I would probably do something like this. I'd give him a beard. Definitely, because he's got those dark looks. He looks quite dark. I would throw a beard in there. Short beard, maybe slightly longer, but why not embrace that dark look? Maybe just not, you know, not rough, but like neat, short beard. I think that would work really well for Chris here. Okay, there it is again. Let me just skip between those. Definitely put a beard in there. So that's probably the way I would just enhance that one more step. So taper at the back, taper at the sides, and throw a beard in as well. Now, how are we getting on at home with hair care? Because I want to ask you, have you got any problems with your hair that you're struggling with? Do you have any issues with greasy hair or dry hair? That's something that is a real pain in the neck, and something that you can deal with quite easily if you know what you're doing. So some people, they have very dry hair. This is something I want to just kind of help you with. They have dry hair, very dry scalp, and they wonder why. More often than not, it is because they wash their hair, they shampoo their hair every day. So let's say you go to the gym or every day, or you just like to have a nice sort of like hygiene routine where you wash your hair every day. Now that's a big mistake. Don't do that. If you have dry hair, dry scalp, then really I would limit that, the shampoo part, to about every second or third day, something like that, because what's happening there is the scalp is putting the natural oil, the sebum, onto the scalp. It comes out of the follicles, moisturizes the scalp. But if you shampoo every day, then it's just going to strip it away. Now, people who notice this are people with curly hair or very coarse hair. You're going to notice that. If you have straight hair, you probably won't have that problem, because the oil, the natural oil, gets onto your hair very easily every time you do something like that. Okay, so in that situation, let's say your hair is a little bit greasy, you maybe need to use up the shampoo routine, or cut to something that's maybe got like some citrus in it. Okay, so listen, if you're watching, drop in any questions, say hello, put something into the live chat, and I will respond. the other day somebody was asking me, there, Shakezilla, awesome tutorials, especially the one how to cut the top with clippers. Well, the reason that I did the how to cut the top with clippers was that I kind of visualised the fact that people are at home, okay, and they have their scissors with them, and they're like this, right? So they pick up the hair, and they're going like this in the mirror with the scissors, and my worry was that people will actually injure themselves with the scissors. They might actually cut into their fingers. Chris, there's Chris on the live chat. Listen, Chris, that was brilliant. Thanks for sending the photos through. I really, really appreciate that because it gave me something to chat about on the live chat. And if anyone else wants to send photos to me, I'll come back next week and I'll offer any kind of critique I can, any way that I could help you improve. Send them to my email, my work email, which is michael@chop.me.uk. I'll add that into the description after the video. So cutting the hair on top with scissors, it's just hard. You could cut your fingers basically. That's why I said maybe try and do it with the clippers, because the clipper, if it's aligned correctly, will never cut you. You can do it with any kind of clipper, really, to be honest with you. Even like a beard trimmer, as long as you keep your sections small, keep them thin. That's a good way to do it. If your sections are too thick and you're using a very fine blade, it's going to be hard to actually cut through the section. Someone asked me on the other night, I was here with Hugo, my son. I was cutting Hugo's hair live, or showing you how to do a little boy's haircut, and somebody asked me what was my route into barbering, and I gave a brief answer, but I'm just going to go over that, how I got into barbering. So basically I went to college in Angus for a year. Now at that time barbering was not a popular subject. In fact, nobody really cared about barbering. In the course at that time, there was to complete the gent section, you had to do 4 haircuts, and they were really basic. One of them was to cut hair to the same length all over. So, just run a clipper all over someone's head at the same length, and then you had 3 other haircuts to pass your assessment. So it was really quite basic course. Now I was fortunate because during that time I had a lot of friends who I could practice on, and the college they actively searched for work experience for people. So I managed to get work experience in a barber shop. Now, let me tell you, when you walk into a barber shop for the first time, I mean, I remember looking at these people cutting, and hair was flying everywhere, so fast. They were working so quickly, and I just thought, I can't do this. Like immediately, I thought, I can't do it. I'm out of my depth. However, I thought, well, the worst that's going to happen is I'll get fired, so I'll just go for it. Let's see how it goes. Now, let me tell you, I came close to getting fired twice. That the pressure to get it right, because right away I was thrown in and working on clients from the get-go. Right away, the guy who owned this shop, he didn't want to waste any time doing theory or have you standing about watching. He needed you to be producing and generating an income for the shop as quick as possible. So he really pushed me. But that fellow Ian, I really admired what he could do. There wasn't really anything with a pair of scissors that he couldn't do. So it was great to learn from someone like that. I went on from there, and after 2 years in that shop learning, and opened my own shop in Montrose, and I worked that for 8 years before then moving on to another shop which I run for 6 years. That was a more central shop, a high street shop, and a bigger place. That was my reason for going there. And then opened another shop in Aberdeen, which I work at the moment, although I'm not there just now. Obviously COVID's just hit everybody so hard now, and we're off work. That's why I'm able to do all these sort of YouTube videos. Guys, any questions? I see I've got a few people watching here. If you've got any questions about your home haircuts, drop them in. If would you like to get into barbering yourself? Is it something that you could see yourself doing? I mean, have you been cutting hair at home and thought, I actually quite enjoy this? Maybe this is something I could do as a career. Let me know. Shakezilla, if you didn't become a barber, what would you have become? Right, okay. One of my biggest loves in life is boxing. I love boxing. I tried very hard as an amateur boxer. I boxed for the local club in Arbroath. I had 14 fights, but I just wasn't tough enough to be a professional, unfortunately. I did okay. I did all right, but I just didn't have the chin. I had a glass chin, unfortunately. Melvin, hello, sir. Hope you're well. Great cut on the kid the other day. Do you have any tips for blending the side and top into a mullet in the back with scissors? Asking for myself cut, haha. Yes, I do. I do have a tip for that. So, and I happen to have a pair of scissors here, and I have a comb. So, what happens here is, right, let's say you're cutting the side here, okay? Let's say you've clippered this area here, right? You've clippered that. Now, because the head curves round like that, okay, you've got this natural area which will blend itself in. So all you need to do is, you need to put your comb in like this, pick it up, okay? Hold it flat. Now the hair will get longer towards the back of the comb. So just cut along the spine of the comb. And that's the way to do it. Take sections, okay? Start high and work your way down, and then pull your hair down and get in there, and just cut along the spine of the comb, and it will just naturally blend itself in. Really, really easy way to blend that stuff in. Shakezilla, I've been cutting my family, and I have to say I really enjoy it, but I don't plan on doing it as a career, maybe part-time. That's pretty good, like, you know, just doing it for your family is great. You might just get better and better at it over time. It depends how long we're locked down. Do I have a private clientele that you visit in their homes? It's big in New York City. Some people charge $100 for a home visit. I don't do home visits because I'm so busy at the shop. So, I mean, like, I can go in the shop and I just work, like, morning till, like, opening time till closing time non-stop. So, by the time I'm finished, I'm exhausted. But I do know people that do home visits in this area. It's not such a big thing. I think if you were in the city, let's say you went to Glasgow or London here in the UK, I know in London you can really command a good price for home haircuts. You probably could in Aberdeen as well, but I would just dedicate my business to doing that. If that's what I was going to do, I would just and you'd be looking for a certain clientele, because when you're doing home haircuts, you've got your travel time as well, that you have to add on to what you're doing. I do follow some barbers. I know what's her name? Stay Gold. I can't remember her name now. Sophie Pock, who's quite a well-known Instagram barber. She makes an absolute killing. I think it's like $250 for a home haircut. Good on her. I can't knock her for that. I don't know what a $250 haircut's like compared to a $100 haircut, but I can imagine they're both comparable. That's good advice. I've been working diagonal sections on the side and checking to see if it gradually changes in length. Typically, the clipper at the temple after doing the diagonal cuts for the side. Diagonal sections. No, I would do a horizontal section there at the side. Do a horizontal section because, so there's techniques that you could use doing diagonal sections where you would either over direct or under direct. That's where you say you lift the hair up at 90 degrees, you either pull it back to over direct it or you pull it forward to under direct it, and that either shortens it or lengthens it depending on what direction you're cutting. But the method that I showed you there, I would use that for blending in the mullet. Listen, send a picture of the mullet if you don't mind to my email. I would love to see it. It's michael@chop.me.uk, because it's it's quite a popular haircut. It's really coming into fashion again now, is the mullet. Because I guess I should have clarified I use diagonal sections because my side hair actually grows backward on both sides. Alright, okay, that's good. That's actually quite that's quite fortunate that your hair is like that. Can I actually go back to when I was talking to Chris, because he mentioned this in his email to me as well. Let's have a look at the side of Chris's hair for a moment. He actually said to me that he was having trouble with his hair going in different directions on either side of his head. So that can happen. Normally you can look at the crown and the hair actually spirals out from the top, and it tends to go like, a lot of people will maybe go this way on one side but this way on another side. But if you've got uniform and it's going just straight back on both sides, that's quite fortunate. But you can, so it can be hard to cut, I think, when it's naturally going back. But I would still try and cut with the method that I showed you. If you can do it with diagonal sections, do it that way. It's whatever works for you. You try both methods. I'm from London. I got to say, barbering is huge over here. Lots of people getting into the industry, including a lot of teenagers. For sure, absolutely. I've met quite a lot of barbers from London. I go to industry events, and it's just unbelievable. Like, see all the events that are going on. It's a really cool industry to be in. Social media has just elevated barbering another level because it's such a visual thing. Cutting hair, people are putting out images of their work, and people are really concerned nowadays with the way that they look. Of course, like, I believe that, you should never knock somebody for the way they look, but unfortunately I'm in the industry where our job is to make people look good as best as we possibly can. So huge focus on it, and it's just like this constant barrage of who can produce the absolute perfect haircut, who can put out the best image next. I mean, I follow so many people on Instagram that when I go on Instagram, it's like just a sea of haircuts every single day, and it's mind-blowing the kind of quality that people put out. Down in London, there is just some absolutely incredible barbers, incredible. Putting work out that just takes your breath away. You think, wow, just can't. I'm astonished by that. It's good. Right. Do you think you can make it as a barber being self-taught, or do you have to attend barber school or apprenticeships? Yeah, you can make it as a barber self-taught. There's so many self-taught barbers out there. And in fact, the majority, I would say now, are not going into college or some kind of barber school, because there's so many barber shops out there. There's always an opportunity for an apprentice or somebody to come on board. But you can also teach yourself. When I was in college, I studied really hard, and there was actually a beauty section in the course, which I didn't want to have anything to do with. I felt really uncomfortable putting face masks on and that. So I went to the library and I just sat and I read Vidal Sassoon books. Now, Vidal Sassoon was just like a real legend in the industry. You should look him up. But Vidal Sassoon really shaped the hairdressing industry as it is today. So let me get back to Where are we? If I look, it is fortunate that the hair travels with flow towards the back, but I appreciate your advice as self-cutting does get difficult. What was the email again? The email was michael@chop.me.uk. So if you want to send over your self-haircut photos, and if you mind me putting them on the feed, I can critique them, let me know. I won't put up anything that you're not happy with. Matt Smith, hi. Would you say an expensive pair of scissors is worth it for home haircuts? What is it that makes professional scissors cost as much as they do? Good question. Hello again, Matt. Yes, I think for a home haircut, I would buy Jaguar scissors. Probably like Jaguar Satin Plus is a pretty decent brand. 60 quid, 40 to 60 quid. And you could actually use something like a Jaguar Satin Plus in a professional setting for about 2 years before it was blunt. What makes quality scissors? Quality scissors are quality steel. Now, if I go to a trade event, there'll be stands everywhere where they're selling scissors. They've got scissors scattered out everywhere, and they'll be like £14, £20, such like. And then there'll be other stands like somewhere like Osaka, which is a big brand. This is this brand that I'm using here. So you know it's a bit more. It'd be about £140, and it has a little pivot on the thumb. Okay, and that's quite good for if you're cutting on the top. Okay, you don't need to lift your elbow up. You can put it down, and you can cut like that. Okay. So they're quite nifty, but the quality of the steel. So see these cheap Chinese scissors. The steel's garbage on them. Like they're really. It pains me when I see someone come away with what they think is a bargain, and then within a few weeks the scissor is blunt. They're rubbish. I once bought a pair of scissors which I paid silly money for, but a very good, very good pair of scissors. They are quartered steels scissors. You can have a look at their website and you can have a look at what the price of them are, but of those are. But they are made with cobalt steel, Hitachi cobalt steel, which is a very fine steel. The cobalt makes the steel harder. Why do we need steel to cut hair? Okay, I'm going to give you some facts here. You're going to be amazed. So, hair, one strand of hair can hold 100 grams of weight. Okay, so think how strong hair is. It's very, very strong. It can hold all that weight. Now, if you took all the hair on somebody's head, okay, the combined strength of that hair would hold the weight of 3 adult grizzly bears. Okay, that's 1,500 kilos. That's how strong your hair is. Your hair is stronger than the bulletproof material Kevlar. That's how strong it is. It is not, however, as strong as steel. So this is why we use steel, and a quality steel as well, because hair will dull the blade. Hair blunts steel. So yeah, definitely a quality steel blade. Japanese, probably, in fact, Japanese, maybe Italian. Yeah, I've bought some decent Italian scissors as well, but that's what I would go for. If you pay £600-700 for a pair of scissors, they'll last you your entire career. You'll have to get them sharpened, but you probably don't need to buy that type of scissor again. So yes, £600-700, maybe more, a little less, but it is a one-off purchase, and you're not going to make that again. Where are we now? Take some more questions. Melvin Alexander, I don't have any boxing experience, but I often wondered what it would be like to get in the ring with some gloves. Who knows? It might become a new hobby. Well, I love boxing. It's not everybody's cup of tea, but I really enjoyed the sport, my time in the sport. And unfortunately, let me tell you though, when I 6 months into my barbering career, when I was working at the the traditional barber shop in Angus, I had a boxing accident. I broke my arm in 2 places there, my arm was like this, but it was away over there. It was behind me, and I paralysed my hand. So my hand, there's like a nerve that comes down here. So my hand was stuck like that for months, and not very good. I nearly lost my job. It did return, thankfully. Have you gave any celebrities or famous people any haircuts? If so, who? Now, nah, not really. No, I don't have any celebrity clients. I've had a few of the Aberdeen football team in, a few newsreaders, but nobody like George Clooney or anything like that. That'd be pretty cool, though. Louise, do I have a PayPal? Yes, I do. It's mike60@ymail.com is my PayPal. Thank you, Louise, and nice to hear from you as well. It says excellent. Fendringham sells excellent made in Germany scissors, affordable too. I totally believe that. Anything made in Germany is going to be quality. There was a period when I used to use Wall clippers, and they for some reason, I don't know if it was Wall or maybe it was Ermilla, but for some reason they had blades made in Germany, which they then sent out to China to be made, and they had a massive batch of clippers that basically were garbage. They didn't work because they cheapened the steel, but thankfully they're made in the USA now, and excellent. But German, I've never had any problems with any German equipment that I've bought. Barber enjoys working with quartered steel and has often featured their shears on their YouTube channel. Barber's great. I follow Barber as well. I like all the videos that they make. They're quite a good laugh. With equipment, do you believe that if you pay more you'll get better quality? Because I think some of those Chinese companies have really leveled up. Keme or Circa. Yeah, I've seen a lot of people using the Keme brand. I don't know what they're like. They look almost identical to a wall clipper. Honestly, the thing is, it's just the quality of the steel for me. That's it. If it's cheap steel, it just doesn't have the strength, and you really know you notice it. It starts bending the hair. It's not cutting the hair. You can dull a blade quite quickly with cheap steel. Another thing to watch out for, and this is something I would really watch out for. Don't buy those scissors that are coloured. The ones that they put paint on, like they're black or pink or leopard print or something like that, because what happens is they hot dip the metal, and it actually softens the metal from the original process. So stay away from them as well. What equipment do you believe? Where are we? Post your PayPal email for donations. Don't cut yourself short. Thanks, Chris. Thank you. Listen, on some of my videos, if you want to leave me a tip, guys, on some of my videos, most of them actually, there's a link for coffee where you can leave me a tip if that's what you'd like to do, and I really appreciate that. It keeps the channel going. Like YouTube really is just like a hobby. I enjoy doing it now. Initially I almost gave up on it because it's quite hard to edit videos, and I thought, this is an awful lot of work because it takes quite a long time to edit a video, and I just thought, I'm going to give up on it. And then I persevered, and I'm kind of glad I did because I quite enjoy doing it now, and it's led me on to a project I'm working on. I'm actually constructing. It's quite a big project, a massive kind of barbering course which will be online. I'm going to put that on Udemy, but it won't be available probably until the springtime because I need to get people to work on, and I can't. We're not allowed to work on people at the moment, so I'm covering all the theory at the moment and editing that in my spare time. I've seen a lot of individuals who have purchased Keme or Circa and actually changed out the blades for proper wall fade or taper blades. Here, that's quite a good idea. I've never actually thought of that. That is a good idea. Maybe a cheaper way to do it. You at the end of the day, well, I remember seeing once somebody took the lid off of one of these. They unscrewed it, and they sort of set them side by side, and you couldn't tell the difference. You know, I really couldn't tell the difference. I don't know. The thing is with this, it's because I've been using it for a long time. I kind of trust it, and I know it's not going to let me down. I normally work with 2 of them, so I have one on charge and I have one at my station, and then, you know, when it goes flat, I'll change it for the other one. And I also have the Andis Master, which is an absolute flipping powerhouse of a clipper. So powerful, absolutely brilliant. Mod clippers. Do you know something I've seen a lot lately is people using skeleton clippers. Does anyone know what that means? Skeleton. It's where they take the clipper and they actually, it would be a trimmer, and they cut the housing away here. Pardon me. So, but it's more of an American thing. You see that they cut the housing away. And the reason that started was to keep the blade cool. You take the housing away and it keeps the blade cool. It's not an issue that we really have in the UK, because it's certainly not in Scotland, because it's absolutely freezing. You know, it's not that hot in the room, so the blades aren't having to deal with the additional just heat of the room as well. I mean, if your room's quite warm, your blade's going to be at that temperature initially. However, one good thing about these skeleton clippers when they cut it away is it gives you a little bit more visibility. You can see through the body, which isn't there, which is quite good. I have the same wall seniors that you have. I've used Filthy Mod's bracket to put the Master's blades on the seniors. Oh, and use purple magnetic guards. Right. Wow, I didn't even know that existed. That's amazing. Right, so you've got a modification that allows you to put Andis blades on a wall clipper. I need to look at that, because that's great advice. And anyone else who wonders here, by the way, Andis have quite an interesting range of blades. Strange thing is, if you're in the UK and you're buying Andis blades, you actually have to go to Groomers, which is a dog grooming website. They're the Andis outlet for the UK. Strange. I've either ordered from them or I've ordered from the US in the past. I've actually skeletoned my corded T outliners, mainly for looks and to get around the ear and mustache. Did you do that yourself? That's quite good, you know, good fun having a little project like modding the clippers. I've thought about doing it myself, but haven't actually taken that step. But sometimes when I'm working with tools, I know how to make them better. You know, like I remember one set of clippers I had once, and as soon as you held them, they felt like they were going to slide out of your hand. They were so slidey, and I thought, why did they not put some kind of rubber on there so that you could hold it a little bit better? Little things like that. It's good fun to mod something, isn't it? Where are we now? A lot of people do DIY mods. It's quite popular in America, I believe. Yeah, it personalizes your stuff, doesn't it? You know, whether it makes you a better barber or not, I don't know. People, I've noticed. Like there's this rush to have the finest blade. I don't know if anyone uses Chris, my man. Thank you for the sticker. That's amazing. Thank you so much. Yeah. So blades, and you know, you've got things like the Gamma Absolute Hitter. The blade is as fine as it comes. It's so close, and loads of people I know have gone to using the Absolute Hitters. They just make the crispest lines ever, but I don't know to what extent, how much better that's going to be than a T outliner or the wall detailer. They're both so close and fine. Normally, if I get to the point that I can't get stubble out, I get the razor out, and I'll use the razor if I think it's necessary. Not always necessary, but yeah. Look, the cleaner you can get it, the better. If if you watch the taper video that I put into the link in the description, at the very end you'll notice, or maybe halfway through, you'll notice what I'm doing is I slightly cut under the lines that go down the nape of the neck. Now it's something that you can't actually see probably with your eyes unless you've got very good eyesight, but it just makes the lines pop that tiny little bit more. It's just the finest of detail. Or you could go in with a razor. Sometimes go against the grain with the razor. It's quite hard to go against the grain on the neck with an open razor, but if you can do it, don't do it on yourself. I wouldn't, like, you're not going to be able to produce anything very fine with an open razor on the back of your neck yourself. In fact, I totally recommend you don't do that. I wouldn't, definitely not. By the way, does anybody use an open razor here? Anybody use a shavette, or do you use the brush and the soap or shave gel? I'd love to know. A lot of barbers here just stick to standard clippers like Wall Magic clips, and seniors, the only mod they'll do is zero gap them. Yeah, like when the Wall Magic came along, a Magic Clip, it's just such a fantastic clipper, and very affordable clipper. I mean, it's probably half the price of the Wall Senior, and it could be zero gapped. The blade's quite fine on it as well. Prior to that, a lot of clippers were coming out of the box with a tapering blade, which is useless if you want to do a fade. If you want to do like a zero fade, you really need a fading blade, and it has to be zero gapped. Trimmers that I use are the corded T outliners and Babyliss Skeleton FX trimmer, which is apparently a very good trimmer. What do you prefer? Do you prefer the detailer or the Skeleton FX trimmer? Because I had the corded T outliners. Yeah, okay, yeah, brilliant, excellent trimmer. Skeleton FX trimmer. I don't know if anyone's used a detailer, the wall detailer. I found that the blades would come out of alignment a little bit when it came to cutting with them. I had to adjust the blades quite regularly. Matt's got a shavette. Also use an old school Gillette double-edged razor. 100% better than cartridges. Oh, for sure, absolutely, yeah, definitely. The shavette. I don't know about you. Like that was something I learned on myself. Like I had the face for it. I've got the hair, so I learned how to use the shavette on myself using YouTube. For a very, very long time, in my career, certainly the first 10 years of my career, I'd be lucky if I had to cut one beard a month, or shave anything, or trim a beard, because nobody was wearing beards. But in the last sort of 7 years, beards have become so popular that there's a demand for the open razor, and it's quite a nice service to give. But and do you know something? Not hard to learn, right? Anybody can learn how to use the open razor. In my shop in Montrose, I had 5 staff at the time. Not a single one of them could use an open razor. They were all really scared of the open razor, and I contacted the Great British Barber Academy, Mike Taylor, and I asked him if we could get somebody up to do some training. So he sent Huso, who was a Turkish barber, up, and all these people from the start of the day till the end of the day were 100% confident with the open razor. They couldn't do it at all, and then by the end of the day, they had absolutely no issue. They could clean shave somebody, absolutely no problem. So it is a skill you can learn in one day. You can just go to a course. It's great. Shavette, also used on also, yeah. Favourite blades? Voxshod. Is that the blade for the shavette? I've not heard of that. I use Permasharp. Now, if you ask around in the industry, I sometimes put, like, I'll just put into Facebook on barber pages, what's the best disposable single blade you could use, and you get loads of answers. But Perma-sharp is the answer that pops up all the time. Now, I don't know who sat there with a caliper and measured the depth of a razor blade, but apparently Perma-sharp are the finest. They're very popular anyway. You have to get them on eBay for some reason. I can't get them from a barbering supplier. I believe styles on either side of the Atlantic have become popular on both sides. Before, US barbers were all about crisp lines and sharp fades, but the tide's changed. Cool to witness the growth. Yeah, for sure. So don't you think? What do you think about like enhancements? Because over here, there's not a big like market for enhancements, and you've maybe seen me using the beard pencil in some videos. It's not something I use in the shop very often, but I believe like if I was in the States, I'd be probably offered that in every visit. Or a lot of places will use like a spray on, like big and dye, to create really sharp lines around all. But sometimes it almost looks like it's painted. I prefer a look to be kind of natural but stylish at the same time. Yeah, the open razor is Shaxzilla is that is the Cutthroat Razor. So that's what I'm referring to, and it could be a shavette or it could be a Cutthroat Razor. The shavette just means that you can use disposable blades. They slide out and you throw them away and you just slide another one in. I use like an exposed one, so the blade kind of sits out a little bit higher. A lot more people employ the crop haircut here in the US, whereas 5 years to 10 years ago that wouldn't have been the case. I actually think that the crop haircuts evolved out of and it's harsh to say this, but the cropped haircut has kind of come from lack of scissor skills, to be honest with you. No, that's unfair. Okay, I can't tar everybody with the same brush here, but it's a really easy thing to do is to just bang a straight line into the front of someone's hair, to leave like a kind of a balanced, delicate kind of fringe where it just sits nicely and it's layered. That takes a lot of skill, but because barbering is so heavily focused on clipper work, and it has been for the last 4 or 5 years, a little bit of scissor work is being lost. You have people who've basically learned intensely on clipper work now teaching the next generation what they've learned, and I think that certain things are kind of getting lost in the mix. I don't think don't get me wrong, I have clients who whose fringes I will cut like that, the crop at the front. I think it really suits them, but I don't try to apply that to every head of hair that comes in. It is a cool look, but it doesn't suit everybody, and I do think that you should try to adapt, and I'd love to see that. Often you look on Instagram and one page will literally be entirely skin fades with crops and no diversity whatsoever. I'm not knocking anybody, but if you can make a business just doing the same haircut all the time, great. Do you like any of the top barber YouTubers like 360 GZ or Chris Bossio? Absolutely, yeah, I follow Chris Bossio. That guy, he is banging out the YouTube videos. Like, I cannot keep up with how many videos he puts out, and he's such a good presenter. He speaks well. He really knows his stuff. When he's talking, I actually watched his videos and I thought, wow, this guy really appreciates what other people are doing. And yeah, I would definitely, if you don't watch Chris Bossio, subscribe to Chris Bossio. Let him know the 1 Minute Barber sent you as well, because that guy, he goes on and he starts to critique other people's work as well. So yeah, I enjoy watching his channel. I've got quite an eclectic mix of people I subscribe to on YouTube, but Chris is one I do watch a lot. I've got an open razor too, but need to learn how to strop it properly. I think I've used Perma-sharp. You can just snap the blades to use them in the shavette, so you can use your favourite one. Yeah. So the you can snap the edges. Permasharp come as a single blade. It's not the double blade. So that's the way I buy them. And you can snap. There's like a little bit you can just snap off each side, and then slide it into the shavette. It's quite hard to put them into shavette, depending on what shavette you're using. Hey Linda, oh, so nice to hear from you, and thank you. And I'm glad you enjoy the videos. Where are we? Across the pond as well. It's all happening there tomorrow. Yes, there are a lot of barbers that do use enhancements. If it attracts clients, I don't knock it. I agree with the idea that it shouldn't cover up a bad haircut, but enhance an already good one. Yeah, definitely. Yeah. I never knock it at all. Enhancements, and if you can add something like that to your business, because I know that they do add enhancements as a way of generating extra income. Definitely, I would. Add it. It's if your client likes it, basically, that's it. If they like it, do it for them. There's a new YouTuber on the rise known as Marty Blends. He is awesome as well. The production and editing is crazy. I'm going to follow him. Marty Blends. Is that right? Marty Blends. Marty Blends. Okay, guys. Well, follow him as well, guys, and let him know the 1 minute barber sent you, and Shackzilla. Yeah, we'll give him a follow. I always look at these people and I wonder, like, where did they get their video editing skills? And it's like learning a whole new trade, learning YouTube. Melvin watches Chris Bossio regularly. Great content. His brand Tomb 45 has enhancement, no drip. That doesn't need to be patch tested and is okay to go on skin. All right, okay. He likes to keep it natural looking also. That's cool that he's got his own brand. I've seen some of the stuff where he goes and he gets he goes into the warehouse and he's got all the hats and the apparel and everything. I admire that. How to get a brand off the ground like that is really hard and amazing. I actually have my own brand of product, Chop Dust Up, which I developed a couple of years ago, and I really struggled to get that brand off the ground and sell it. But I haven't given up on that. I will. It was something that I spent I was trying to source the best dust. It's like a texturizing dust, and I bought about 15-20 different dusts, tested them all. I bought in samples of dust from various manufacturers, and eventually found the one I was looking for. I thought, right, let's get this produced. But it's hard to sell. I think, I probably need to go on a marketing course. That's probably the way to do. YouTube will teach me how to market dust. Where are we? Do you watch any of the famous London barbers like HD Cuts, Slider Cuts, and Smoky Barbers? No, I don't watch any of them. I don't watch any of them. Who do I watch? Who do I follow down there? Let me see. I don't know if she's in London now. Hayden Cassidy. She was in Berlin for a while. I follow her. Who else do I follow down there now? I think I can't remember where they're all from, these guys, but yeah. Anyway, no, I don't follow them, but I will look them up since they've been mentioned. HD Cuts, guys, follow them. HD Cuts, Slider Cuts, and Smoky Barbers. No, who do I follow? Let me see. I follow Glass Box in Toronto. They're really, really good barbers. I've been fortunate enough to go and meet them at a conference. Follow Glass Box. Stuff they're putting out is just unbelievable, and it's diverse. I mean, those guys have got real skill. Eco battery that can be used for the wall seniors and can add battery life to the 70 minute it has. I believe you can get an hour and a half or 45. Wow. Oh, that's pretty good. I mean, how did they even think of this? They've developed their own battery. Incredible. Oh, Paul Pogba's barber. Right. Well, that's gonna bring you some, because Pogba's got some brilliant, interesting hair, doesn't he? Does anyone follow? Speaking of like footballers' barbers, anyone follow Ruger Barber? Ruger, Ruger. That's Reece and Alan Beak. They sort of do some of the Man City team, I think. But I've learned an awful lot from watching Alan Beak. I've been to a few shows and I've been fortunate enough to meet him. And he's a great educator. Puts out a lot of interesting stuff. Those London barbers are all known to cut footballers and celebrities. Ah, right, okay. Well, unfortunately, yeah, brilliant. I just need Pogba to come into my. If Pogba comes in, I'm putting my price up. No, that's good. Now, just so you know, my shop's in Aberdeen, so the level of football in Aberdeen is not the same. It's not the same as Chelsea, but never mind. One day. On a side note, do you take the orthodox or southpaw stance in boxing? Southpaw. Yes, I'm left-handed. I coach boxing now. Well, I've taken a break from it since COVID, but I do coach boxing as well, and I do spar now and again, so I'll stand orthodox to spar. So however, guys, listen, I'm going to wrap up unless anyone's got any more questions or any more chat. And Chris, thanks so much for the sticker as well. Really appreciate it and love chatting to all you guys. Yeah, that's my two loves in life, you know. Actually, Melvin, if I could retire from barbering, I would just coach boxing. Probably I'd be like, you know, like a really old guy like Mickey from Rocky or something, you know, just like lurking about boxing clubs for the rest of my life. Listen, if anyone wants to send me some images, remember, if you want to send me some images and I can critique them and go over some of the images, let's just remind ourselves of Chris's hair after using the 1 minute barber techniques. Here it is. Send them over to michael@chop.me.uk, and I'd be delighted to offer up any ideas or help that I can, and take any more questions. I'll be back next week, same time next week, okay? Listen, thanks very much. Thank you, everybody. Thanks for all the questions, and have a good evening. I'll see you next time.